8 glasses of water a day. You've heard it your whole life. Your doctor has probably said it. Every health website repeats it like it's gospel. But if you have kidney disease, and especially if you're past stage 3, this advice could be actively harming you. Not just unhelpful, actively harmful. I'm Grace Wells. I've spent years working with older adults navigating kidney disease and diabetes, and this topic comes up in almost every conversation I have. So today we're going to do something a little different. We're not going to talk about what you should drink. We're going to talk about why the advice you've been given your whole life doesn't apply to you the way you think it does. And we're going to go stage by stage so you walk away with something specific, not something general. Stay with me through the middle of this video because the urine color section alone could genuinely change how you manage your hydration every single day. That part surprises almost everyone. So let's start at the beginning. Where did this rule even come from? Most people assume it comes from decades of solid medical research. It doesn't. The 8 glasses a day idea traces back to a 1945 recommendation from the U.S. Food and Nutrition Board. 1945. And the actual recommendation, if you go back and read the original document, said something quite different from what we repeat today. It said adults need about 2.5 liters of water daily. But then immediately after that, it added, most of this quantity is contained in prepared foods. Most of it. Already in your food. Somewhere between 1945 and now, that second sentence got dropped entirely. And we've been passing around the first half like it was the whole story. Fruits, vegetables, soups, even bread, a bowl of oatmeal, a cup of broth, a piece of watermelon. All of that counts toward your daily fluid. For a healthy person with 2 fully functioning kidneys, this misunderstanding is mostly harmless. Drink a little more, the kidneys filter it out, life goes on. But when your kidneys are compromised, that margin for error shrinks dramatically. And that's exactly what we need to talk about. Healthy kidneys are extraordinary. They filter about 180 liters of fluid every single day. When you drink too much, they excrete more. When you drink too little, they hold back. That system, when it's working perfectly, is almost impossible to overwhelm. But in chronic kidney disease, that system is damaged. Your kidneys can no longer fine-tune their response the same way. They can't efficiently clear excess fluid. They struggle to maintain the right balance of electrolytes. So when someone with stage 4 CKD follows the same hydration advice as a healthy 35-year-old, the fluid has nowhere to go. It accumulates in your legs, your lungs, around your heart, and something else happens, something that doesn't get talked about nearly enough. When you drink too much water with compromised kidneys, you dilute your blood sodium levels. And low sodium, what doctors call hyponatremia, is not just uncomfortable. In older adults, it causes confusion. It causes dizziness. It dramatically increases fall risk. And in severe cases, it can cause seizures or coma. I don't say that to frighten you. I say it because this is a real risk that gets completely overlooked when someone hands a kidney patient the same advice they'd give anyone else. Now here's where I need you to pay close attention, because the answer is not the same for every stage of kidney disease. Not even close. At stage 1 and stage 2, kidney function is still relatively preserved. GFR is above 60. For most people at this stage, normal hydration, somewhere around 6 to 8 cups, is still reasonable. But even here, talk to your doctor before assuming that number applies to you. Heart failure, diabetes, blood pressure medications, all of these change the calculation in ways that a general guideline simply can't account for. Stage 3 is where things start to shift. Stage 3 is split into 3A and 3B, and there's a real difference between them. But across stage 3, the kidneys are losing their ability to respond efficiently to fluid changes. If you don't have edema, swelling in your legs or ankles, somewhere in the 5 to 7 cup range is often appropriate. But the moment you notice swelling, that number likely needs to come down. And please write down what your nephrologist specifically tells you, because at stage 3, the variation between individuals is enormous. Two people with the same GFR can have very different fluid needs depending on everything else going on in their body. Stage 4 and Stage 5, including dialysis, are a different world entirely. Here we are no longer talking about general guidance. Here, fluid intake is a medical prescription. At Stage 4, many patients are told to restrict fluids significantly. At Stage 5, especially on dialysis, fluid between sessions is strictly calculated. Too much fluid between dialysis appointments puts enormous strain on the heart. If you are at Stage 4 or 5 and you're still going by a general internet recommendation, bring this video to your next appointment and have a direct conversation. I've seen patients in real distress because no one sat down and explained that their hydration rules are fundamentally different now. Now, and this is the part I mentioned at the beginning, let's talk about urine color. Because for most healthy people, it's an easy, reliable guide. Pale yellow means you're well hydrated. Dark yellow or amber means drink more. Completely clear might mean you're overdoing it. Simple. Useful. But in kidney disease, this guide breaks down at both ends. If your kidneys are struggling to concentrate urine, your urine may appear pale or even clear even when you're not drinking enough. The kidneys simply can't produce the concentrated output they normally would, so clear urine stops being a reliable sign that you're overhydrated. On the other side, certain medications that many CKD patients take, including some diuretics and B vitamins, can darken urine artificially. So here's the modified guide. Clear and colorless when you haven't taken supplements or medications, worth noting to your doctor. Light straw yellow is generally the target zone. Medium yellow is acceptable in most stages. Dark yellow, orange, or brown. Speak to your care team, don't wait. And if your urine has a consistently foamy or frothy appearance, that's not a hydration issue. That's a potential protein sign, and it needs medical attention regardless of how much water you're drinking. The urine color check is still a useful daily habit. But in CKD, you have to read it with more context than a healthy person would. Before I get to the hydration log, which I genuinely think is one of the most underused tools in managing kidney disease, I want to address something I hear constantly. People tell me, "But Grace, I feel better when I drink more water. My skin looks better. I feel more alert." And I believe you. Here's why that happens. When you're mildly underhydrated, fluid intake does improve circulation, energy, and cognitive clarity. That's real. But there's a point past which more fluid doesn't continue improving how you feel. It just accumulates. And for CKD patients, especially in later stages, you can feel completely fine right up until your fluid levels cross into dangerous territory. The absence of symptoms is not the same as being safe. Your kidneys can no longer send the same warning signals they used to. That's the nature of the disease, which is exactly why tracking matters. For 7 days, track 3 things: what you drink, cup by cup, every cup, approximate amounts are fine. What you eat that carries liquid, soup, yogurt, gelatin, ice cream. These count toward your fluid intake more than most people realize. And any symptoms, swelling in the feet or ankles, shortness of breath, brain fog, unusual fatigue, headache, that's it. At the end of 7 days, you have a real picture. Not a guess. You can bring that log to your nephrologist or dietitian and say, "Here's exactly what I've been taking in, and here's what I noticed." That conversation is completely different from, "I think I drink about 6 cups a day, maybe more. I'm not sure." One of those conversations leads somewhere. The other one stays stuck. I'll link a simple log format below. Nothing complicated, just something you can print or copy into your phone. So let me bring this together. The 8 glasses rule was never designed for you. It was a general population estimate built on an incomplete reading of a 1945 report, and it has been passed around for 80 years without nearly enough nuance. For stage 1 and 2, general guidance may still apply, but confirm with your doctor. For stage 3, individual variation is significant and close monitoring matters. For stage 4 and beyond, your fluid intake is not a lifestyle choice. It's a clinical number, and at every stage, urine color is a guide, not a rule. Read it in context. The people who manage kidney disease best are not the ones who found a perfect universal answer. They're the ones who stopped looking for universal answers and started paying close attention to their own body, their own numbers, and their own team. If what we talked about today gave you something real to work with, or if you've been living with this exact confusion, I'd genuinely love to hear from you in the comments. Not just good video? Tell me, what has your nephrologist actually told you about water intake? What stage are you at, and what are you working with? Because I read those comments. And more often than not, what people share down there ends up being just as useful as anything I say in the video. Someone reading this right now needs to hear what you've been through. If you have a family member managing kidney disease, share this with them before your next conversation about their care. Sometimes it helps to have something concrete to point to, something they can listen to on their own time and come back with questions. I'll see you in the next one.